Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing. It is Friday, the 14th of June. I'm Derek Clark, and it brings me great delight to say I'm joined by Stevie Clifford. How is it going, Stevie?
Yeah, good morning, mate. Good morning, everyone. I hope we're all well. It's transfer window opening day. Let the joy commence.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Rangers have already done some early business. 3 arrivals. We expect many more, and there's plenty of transfer murmurings to get our teeth stuck into. Just before we do that, just a heads up, folks, the MPH Boilers opening day weekend at their newly opened Dunfermline showroom takes place this kicks off today, incidentally. So if you want to head along to that, then there's plenty of quality prizes on offer, money off services, and of course, as I've mentioned many times, if you land on zero, they've got a Vegas-themed roulette game where you can win a 4-night stay at Trump Tower, no less, over in Vegas. The all-important details are in the description below. And before we carry on, I was messaged a couple of days ago by Dave Patterson. So a very happy birthday, 21st birthday to his son, Cam Patterson, who turns 21 on Sunday. So, of course, we're not on Sunday. So many happy returns, Cam, when it comes. Hopefully have a cracking day from everyone here at the Rangers Review. Right, where shall we start? Well, there's a great piece on the website this morning. We discussed this when we were last on, Stevie, about Clinton Nsiala, of course, joined from AC Milan. Bit of a coup, it appears, according to Chris's piece on the site this morning. We understand that 3 Serie A clubs made a pitch for Nsiala in recent months. 2 clubs in Ligue 1 in France, and in Germany, Schalke and Hamburg were also interested in taking him away from the San Siro. But he was persuaded to join Rangers. He was sold on what Niels Koppen and Philip Clement had to say about the project at Ibrox. So certainly bodes well. Of course, we haven't seen him play, Stevie, but good to see a young lad in the door. And not often you get players of that ilk turning down advances from suitors in France and Serie A to join Rangers.
Well, listen, it's only going to be a bit of a coup, to use your expression, if he's any good. You know what I mean? So exactly. We're going to just need to be patient with him. And yeah, we just need to just see how he turns out, Derek. I think that's the most important thing. And it's just one of those ones where, you know, we've seen it a lot about players that were apparently wanted. You know, I think Sam Lammers had interest last year and we had beaten teams to him and stuff like that. And then look how that turns out, all the way turned into Ronaldinho back in Holland. But, you know, we just need to wait and see. So it's one of those ones where I'm quite grounded. The boy's not had any first-team football yet. We need to... He comes with a good profile. Look, he does. I think, you know, he's got that potential. I spoke a lot about his stats and that the other day. I spoke about how I would like him instead of a seasoned professional as backup, pushing a first team signing and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm very happy he's here. Like, it's not to play it down. I'm just, you know, interest from other teams and apparently beating other teams and stuff like that. It doesn't really interest me until they're out there performing, and then we can say, well, it was a definite coup to get him because he's turned out to be a cracker. But if he turns out to be not so good, then we'll be asking those other clubs that were interested if they now want them. So we'll just wait and see on that, Derek. But on a big shout out, actually, see the first person that commented, "Good morning, your lads from Florida," Gary Howden. Gary is a massive, massive mate of mine. We grew up together in Fort William, and we used to go in the Fort William Rangers Supporters Club together. Gary and I were really close. We used to sit together. Big Rod Wallace fans, me and Gary, back in the day growing up. So morning to Gary out there. I don't know if it's morning out there. It'll be a different time scale, obviously, in Florida, but morning from Scotland, Gary. I hope you're well, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to a few comments that are coming in, incidentally. First of all, Gordon says, morning, troops. I've become a granddad overnight, so shout out to the news bear Cooper. Yeah, congratulations, Gordon. Great news. Hopefully you've got him tuning in I'm sure it's maybe a bit too early for him today, but congratulations, Gordon. Fantastic news that. Other transfer news, of course, we'll touch on this, Stevie, because just shortly after we came off air on Wednesday, news broke that Rangers were actively pursuing Connor Barron. He's a player we've touched on in videos before, a player that Rangers should be targeting. It's now emerged that a number of other clubs are hoping to sign him as well. We all knew there was Italian interest. Verona and Bologna are said to be keeping tabs on the situation. And English Championship sides Swansea, Cardiff, Plymouth and Stoke have also put offers on the table apparently as well. So Rangers facing a bit of competition for Connor Barron. Got to say, I would like to see him at Rangers. Stevie is the sort of player Rangers should be looking to target. Your feelings on Connor Barron?
I know my feelings on Connor Barron. We spoke about him December time. I think we spoke about him. And then we spoke about him. There's quite a few questions January, February time on this show about signing some Scottish talent. And, who should we be looking at? Connor Barron was one of the ones we spoke about. I also mentioned a couple other, Josh Campbell, who got people shouting at me for. And we talked about Lennon Miller. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I like him. I know that he's not played a lot last season due to injury, so obviously he'd fit right in at Ibrox. But we spoke about Lennon Miller. We spoke about the boy Watson at Kilmarnock. So there's quite a few that we could have went and got some. But some stats on Connor Barron: 5'9", Scottish under.
You've done homework again.
What's that?
You've done homework again.
No. Who's done my homework for me, Derek?
Shona.
Shona's done my homework for me.
Well done, Shona.
5'9", Scotland under 21, 9 appearances, 29 appearances for Aberdeen last season, 1 goal, 3 assists, 79 passing accuracy, 42% long ball accuracy, 58% dribbles successive, 74 tackles won, 56 duels won, and he's 67 aerial duels won. Key basically is that he's good, technically good with the ball, aggressive out of possession, which is true. I like him because he goes and hunts. Like, now, I would describe him to somebody in my age. He's not there on ability or anything, so I'm not making that comparison. But in style, he's quite like Stuart McCall. Off the ball, he's very, like, he chases and harries and presses quite a lot. He's a player that I like. Spoken about him quite a lot. So, thank you, obviously, to Shona for the stats. She gets our stats for Four Lads Pod, which is live. You can watch that, folks, on some transfer speculation after this show, obviously. But Connor Barron's a player I really like. He probably cost you 200,000 or 300,000 on a development fee, Derek. You're taking him from Aberdeen, which will upset them, which is always a plus. And he's actually a very good player. You're basically swapping Ryan Jack for somebody almost 10 years his junior and not with that kind of chronic injury issues that Jacko had. So for me, this is one that I would really like. I'm not sure where it is. There's a lot of discussion. I think people on Wednesday, when it was all going around, I think they were saying that family members on social media were liking and retweeting the stories linking them to Rangers and stuff like that. And in a week where we've had strikers following Glasgow coffee shops and all this stuff like that, I think we'll take any transfer link we can. So
yeah,
I'm all in for Connor Barron. I would really like to see that happen. In terms of a transfer window, and again, we mentioned this the other day, and we'll probably mention it another million times this summer, that Philip Clement says we have to be very careful and have to be kind of vigilant with our money and stuff like that. I get that. Then we need to sometimes the most obvious deals are the best ones, Derek. And I think that Connor Barron is a very obvious and good choice for us. So somebody that's low risk, somebody that we could, even if he didn't settle or whatever, if it didn't work out, we're not losing money there. He's not going to come on a 30 grand a week big contract. You can get him for a relatively good deal. Yeah. And I think as a player, I think he's got something that we don't have, which is we don't have a lot of players that can press and harry and stuff like that. Raskin and Diamandi can, but there's another, like if you think about Lawrence, Dowell, Lundstrom, Jack, who were the midfield last season, it's a slower type of player than aggressive, ball hunter, ball winner kind of thing that the Barron is. So yeah, I'm all aboard this one, Derek. Give me the option of getting Connor Barron, and yeah, I'm all in on that one. So let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks. But if we can get him, I'd be extremely happy.
Yeah, I think it would be a good move if Rangers can get that one over the line. Right, let's get to loads of comments coming in. Big thank you, incidentally, to Duncan Smith, who's very kindly donated 5 Rangers Review memberships. Lots of generosity in recent days, so thank you for that, Duncan. That is magic. And he says, loving the show, guys. Keeping us informed over the transfer window. Great journalism on the site. Would encourage those watching to subscribe. Well, that is very kind of you to say so, buddy. Lots of people liking my jersey as opposed to the top I had on yesterday, which got absolutely slated. Stevie shaking his head there. Broxy loves the Rangers. Says, liking that Stock Scotland top better than your Dolly mixture one the other day. And Jamie says, classic top there. Remember Duncan Ferguson hitting the bar with an overhead kick against Germany at Ibrox with that on you. You don't make tops like that anymore, that's for sure. I've actually got a McCoist one from Euro 92 where he wore the number 5, which was mental. I think the numbers were given to players based on the amount of caps, I think it was, that they had at the time. So McCoist was number 5. But yeah, I hope to do that at some point on my travels as well. But yeah, just on the talk of that midfield area, Stevie, I spoke to Chris yesterday about it. If Barron is to come in, of course, he's in the mould of Damian Garcia, which doesn't look like it's happening now. Of course, he's signed that. Well, it looks like he's signed that new deal with Peñarol. Would you be happy with a midfield, central midfield then of Diamandi, Raskin and Barron if he's to come in? Would you be quite content with that?
No, I think we need somebody else. But just on the Damian Garcia one, that rumour about him signing a new contract, Derek, has been ongoing this summer. Like it's been ongoing now 4 or 5 weeks, and as far as I'm aware, there's no official confirmation anywhere that he's signed that. So there's obviously a game of cat and mouse going on. There was rumours that he was over in Scotland. I don't believe they're true. I don't believe he has been here yet. So how true are the links? Are we really that interested? I'm not sure. He is a player I really like. He's one of the ones I spoke about it, Derek. You know, I think we need a quality 6. I think he'll be a quality 6. If we don't get him, fine. You know, you move on. We're not going to get every target. Even back in the glory days, you know, we didn't. I remember. Do you remember? You know, in the 9-0 years, the big massive summers trying to get guys like Florian Radicayu and stuff like that. And I remember like all summer chases for these guys, and they just never came. The whole Jardel saga, obviously.
Spoke about him yesterday. Yep.
Aye. So like, there's loads of transfer stuff, and we're not going to get everyone. And I think it's up to us as a support just to be patient. You know, we're going to be linked with 100 names this summer, and we'll maybe get 10 of them. So we just need to be patient and see what it takes us and not overreact or underreact. If Damian Garcia doesn't come, then, you know, it's a shame because we talked ourselves into him being a really good signing. Has he signed a new contract? At this moment, there's no official confirmation. So let's just see what happens with that. But personally, I think that Tom Lawrence, Kieran Dowell, potentially Todd Cantwell, I think that they could be moved on this summer. Yeah. So I'm not sure there's a massive future for them here. Maybe one will survive. I'm not sure. I think we'd be open to business, Derek. So I would say that on your question, Barron, Diamandi, Raskin, I think that would be a fairly decent. You know, could Sterling be included in the midfield? Will he be?
Depends if Tav goes, Stevie.
That's what I was about to say. Would he potentially be our new right back if and when James Tavernier goes? So I think there's still business there. They'll obviously prioritise and they'll need to do a wee bit of wheeling and dealing and getting players in. But I think that we definitely need another midfielder. And that's before we even contemplate, are we going to play with 10? If we don't play with 10, you probably need another 2 midfielders. So there's a bit of work to be done in there, Derek. Does Bailey Rice come into the team? Could Cole McKinnon come into that midfield? You've got to weigh that up as well. You know, Cole McKinnon could be your 4th or 5th one that's in there pushing in. Bailey Rice maybe behind him pushing on. So there's a lot to consider, Derek. But Cole McKinnon's a good player. So there's a lot of numbers in there, you know. So do we need another quality one? A proper first team number 6? I'm still with that. So even if Barron did arrive. So I think there's a wee bit of work to be done there.
Yeah. Right. Interesting points there. Just on players Rangers used to be linked with, lots of comments coming in about star names. These were the days back in the 90s. Maka says Vialli too, Stevie. I was gutted when Rangers never get Vialli.
That's why
Mind you wrote a letter saying he would say he was sorry for turning down Rangers to move to Chelsea at the time. I think, was it 96 or was it around about Euro 96? I think he was heavily linked with Rangers, but Chelsea nipped in and got him. Gutted when he chose Chelsea over Rangers.
Yeah, he'd been to Ibrox and all that. You know, I think
Yeah.
it was really high profile. He'd been to Ibrox with met Murray, met Walter and stuff like that. And he was the one, wasn't he? Like, cracking hairstyle, cracking finisher, and everything about him, Gianluca Vialli. God rest him. What a man he was. Obviously went on. I followed him to Chelsea, and that's how I started liking Chelsea. And I followed him there, and obviously, it was like kind of Hullet and Vialli were the star names.
Di Matteo.
Roberto Di Matteo as well. Mark Hughes, things and stuff like that. So, and then Dan Petrescu and all that kind of era, and then he went on obviously to manage Chelsea and things like that. So Gianluca Vialli was, sensational. I would have loved to have seen him in a Rangers jersey at that time, and obviously Juventus had just kind of destroyed us just before we started chasing him. Old Fabrizio Ravanelli and stuff like that, who ended up, Dundee. So just incredible. So listen, there was loads of them over the summers that we used to be linked with. Gary McAllister was another massive one that we spent the whole summer chasing one year, and we didn't get him over the line. So I think that was the year we actually ended up getting Gascoigne. We spent ages trying to get Gary McAllister. Ian Jess was at Ibrox every week, if you'd listened to Chick Young back in the days. So there's loads of them. There's going to be loads of them this summer as well. So, we missed out on Jose Cordoba. If we miss out on Damian Garcia, fair enough. We'll just move on and get somebody else's. You don't have a list of one. You have a list of 6, and you've got your top targets in that. So we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah, I remember speaking to someone that was a teammate of Ravanelli's at Middlesbrough. He said if he was chocolate, he'd eat himself. But had a high opinion of himself, Fabrizio, but boy, he could finish. Tam Brown with the point says that R9 for the home games only. Remember the pursuit of Ronaldo. How would have loved R9 up front for Rangers. That would have been quite something.
By the way, that deal was absolutely ridiculous. It was like, you don't even need to you don't even play, like, if you don't want to go to Kilmarnock, don't bother your arse kind of thing. Like, it was just wild. Like, that's the kind of contract I don't want. I want at my work. Like, just turn up when you want, Stevie. Like, you don't want to do night shift, mate. Don't bother. So, man, honestly, but it would have been fun. But aye.
Yeah, I feel sorry for those that weren't grown up through the 90s when Rangers were linked to these guys. I do feel sorry for you, but those days are well and truly long gone. Just on the issue of midfield, a good point from Ross. Says, I think we need more goals in the midfield. Not sure Raskin, Diamandi and Barron would have that. A very good point. Rangers need more goals in that midfield area, Steve. It's all well and good saying we need a striker, but the midfield needs to pitch in. When's the last time midfielders were hitting double figures in terms of goals?
Well, the point on that would be what I said about, are we going to get a 10?
Yeah.
Because your 10's your numbers, aren't you? So it depends on how we're going to play. Is it a 2 and a kind of 1 in front, or we're going to play a flat 3? If it's a flat 3, then I would agree you need somebody slightly more forward thinking. But Diamandi can score goals, you can hit them. Raskin can score goals, you can hit them. It's about getting players around these boys that's going to make them flourish and not have to be, so reserved and defensive like we've seen in the Scottish Cup final, because there's not much around them and there's nothing to hit. So I genuinely think that if you get better forwards, you get better wingers, you get a better 10, goals will start coming from all over the place, because suddenly you're getting out balls, suddenly there's more to hit. And at a moment, like, you think about that Rangers team last year, it was pretty bland. Wasn't a lot there. Cortez getting injured, and no wingers of any kind of ilk that were left. So, I agree with a point to an extent, Ross, but I would think that it depends also on what happens elsewhere, and where it kind of shapes from there. So it's a good point, but there's a lot of variables to that one, I think.
Yeah, Still some names getting bandied about Rangers. But I love this. This Andy from Andy King says, I always wanted us to sign Hakan Suker back in those days. Drives a taxi now in the USA. He was some player for Turkey. Galatasaray he played it as well, Hakan Suker. And Johnny Alcatraz, I forgot all about this. Shevchenko deal was done, and Kiev moved the price in the last second. Murray was raging and pulled the plug. I think Rebrov was linked to Rangers as well, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day when Dinamo Kiev were some side, Shevchenko and Rebrov up front. But yeah, Shevchenko, what a player he was.
He was okay. You know what I mean? He could have sat on the bench, couldn't he? And but remember, we were going to get guys like Salenko at that point. And now Salenko might not have worked out over here, but he just rammed in 5 goals, for Romania, wasn't it, in the World Cup? And
Russia against Cameroon.
Russia, that's right. And he was just sensational. We were linked with Georgie Hadji as well, like quite a lot. Like everybody. Do you remember the Czech Republic goalie? They spent the whole summer trying to get him. His name was Pavel or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
That was Euro '96, and I remember Euro '96 started one of the games, and it was Rangers that actually signed the boy, and that was a time that Gorham was kind of up and down as well, and go. I think that Smith maybe transfer listed him that summer and things like that. So there was a whole lot of rumours about all that, and Rangers were massive. Like they were one of the go-to teams for being linked with everybody. So growing up during that time was incredible. So
it was exciting, wasn't it?
Stephen says, big jukebox jury. No, but it's as I said, it was fun growing up. But it is fun at the moment, Derek. This summer so far, the rumours, the names that are being linked are maybe not those kind of wild kind of names in terms of world football and all that, but it's still fun. We're still being linked with a good amount of players that are enough to kind of tickle your fancy and get you a wee bit excited. So we'll just need to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an interesting point that came in. I wanted to touch on. Just TV, actually, this is a point we've said before. Hi, lads. What's the update with the medical team? Surely we won't persist with the constant failure and extreme injury list. No, it's something that Philip Clement is keen to address this summer. It's imperative Rangers sort that, Stevie, because we can't have another season like that. It's hamstrung Rangers in recent years. Can't have so many players out injured long term, but it's absolutely imperative that gets fixed.
Official update is that there will be staff within the medical and sports science department leaving and also coming in to the club. They will be bringing in numbers. So officially, that's what's happening. Philip Clement told us that. We've since had that confirmed. They won't tell you who these people are because obviously there's procedures and things to be followed. There's also upgrades happening within the training ground to both those departments. Materialistically, Derek, that's how I would pronounce that. So I'm not concerned as such with that. There will be upgrades. Philip Clement is driving that. One of the big things Philip Clement actually said when they asked him, if you remember, on the close of the season was, would you have changed anything? And he said, maybe I should have changed that a lot sooner. So he's obviously not happy. He's told us, obviously, he's not happy with that situation. So I don't think that's a one to kind of worry about. Are we doing something? Yes, we are 100% doing something.
Yeah. Another name has been fired in. DMC says Fernando Couto. Yeah, he was another one. Big Portuguese centre half. He was at Parma at the time, wasn't he, Stevie? Or he went to Parma, but another player that was heavily linked to Rangers. He
was another one photographed going into Ibrox and stuff, and he was supposedly almost done and everything else. So Fernando Couto, geez,
Yeah, an absolute colossus at the back. Would have loved him.
He's a monster, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was like Amoruso, sort of Amoruso type, but boy, he could defend not half. Colin Cooper, just sort of point we touched on earlier on. Derek, what position do you think Sterling will be in? If it's right back, then we can put that to bed and concentrate on the rest of the team. Listen, this boy can play anywhere, pretty much. I've been really, really impressed with him last season. Listen, it all depends if Tavernier is to depart. I think the likelihood is that he will move on. Then I think Sterling will move to right back. Do Rangers still need another one, do you think, over there? I know Adam Devine's in the building, Stevie, but would you like to see Rangers bring someone else in?
I think so. In answer to Colin's question, I think that Dujon Sterling will be Rangers' new right back next season.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how that progresses over the next few weeks. But I think that is, I think that that's not an unlikely suggestion. And I think after that, do you need another right back? I'm not sure on Adam Devine. Like he's looked okay when he's played for Rangers. Could he be an okay backup? You know, Dujon Sterling though hasn't exactly been injury free, Derek. So
no, correct.
Do you need somebody else in there? Could you get an experienced pro, pick one up that's maybe experienced? And we do need an experienced kind of bits and bobs in the squad, don't we? We need a few players in there. So he could be one that you pick up in that position. Is there one available? I'm honestly not sure. I would need to obviously delve into that a wee bit deeper. But I mean, I'd be delighted with Dujon Sterling anywhere in my team because I think he's a cracking player. Right back, I'd be absolutely fine with that also. So he's got the legs, he's got the energy, he can drive forward, he's good in the tackle, he's strong. But having Devine as a backup to somebody that has had injury problems might be problematic for a boy that may or may not make it. I'm just not sure because he's never really.
I'm not seeing enough of him. I know.
He's never really properly had a good go, has he? He's looked okay. He's never really done anything wrong. But what happens if you're having to pitch him in for 10 games? Well, Dujon Sterling's, got a hamstring issue or something, that he's had this season. So, interesting question. I think there's obviously going to be priority positions in our team: centre back, 6, 10, 9, wingers. Well, basically everywhere. You know what I mean? So we just need to wait and see.
Yeah. Just on the right back, I mean, Rangers have been linked to two. Timothy with the point that the young boy from Arsenal, Real Walters, of course, it has been linked.
I like that idea. I think that would be okay as a backup, but is he much different from...
He'll be wanting to play, Stevie.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Well, but that's no problem for me. You know what I mean? If you've got young, hungry guys that don't want to come and sit on the bench, then great. That's the whole point of it, isn't it? So I've not got an issue with that. You want to play. If you're good enough, you're going to play. So you need players like that, Derek. You need players that are going to be hungry and pushing you and trying to get that. So,
yeah, I was hoping to speak to someone from the Arsenal side on Walters. So we should be getting some with regards to that. Actually, I recorded a video yesterday. I was a few steins deep in a beer keller and I hot-footed across Munich for a video on Nathaniel Ajay. You'd have seen him linked. He's a Hammarby defender, linked with both Anderlecht and Rangers. So recorded a video on the Rangers Review Extra channel with a lad from Nordisk Football. They cover Scandinavian football in great detail. As soon as we finished, news emerged that Lorient, the French team that he was on loan at the second half of the season, had exercised their option to buy, and they are bringing him in, the Ghanaian defender. So that got that panned on the head. So that's the last time I'm doing one of these transfer videos, Stevie, getting wheeled away from enjoying a German lager or two. But yeah, that one looks dead in the water. Lorient, incidentally, relegated from Ligue 1 last season, so it's quite a big fee that Hammarby will be getting for services. €6 million, I think, is the reported fee for him. So that's another one that looks dead in the water. But Stevie, you're chuckling away there?
Yeah, just, you know what, honestly, see for you and Johnny and Joshua and all that and Matty and everybody all over there, and you've abandoned me and Chris back home. Me and Chris basically doing absolutely everything next week while you are all over having pints and watching Scotland and all that absolute nonsense. I've got zero sympathy for you. In fact, it made me chuckle rather wholeheartedly, Derek. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we'll wrap up with this. News you might have seen, reports from Turkey always take with a pinch of salt, but a player that has been heavily linked, a move that was edging ever closer, is Yusuf Kabadai. News emerging from Turkey that Besiktas, who are now coached by former Rangers manager Giovanni van Bronckhorst, are interested in him as well. They're also believed to be interested in James Tavernier, and Steven Berghuis he's looking to bring in from Ajax as well as Gio. But Kabadai is another one heavily linked, Stevie. It appeared that it was close. Rangers are in the driving seat for him. Touched on it before, a bit of a raw player. You're buying potential more than anything else. But for what, 850 grand? I think it's probably a shrewd bit of business. Again, pretty much like Nsiala. Can't make too much of an assessment until we see him in a Rangers jersey. But Besiktas apparently interested.
You know what I mean? Like, they've just got a new manager. So, agents and all that will be throwing about names and all sorts and clubs.
Yeah.
And listen, honestly, and I said this last week when we were linked with Jose Cordoba and he ended up going to Norwich. And I don't really care too much. We're going to be linked with absolutely loads of players.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just repeating myself. Going to be linked with loads of players. If they come, they come. Great. We'll welcome them, and it'll be brilliant. See if they choose to go elsewhere, then good luck to them. It honestly doesn't bother me. I've seen it too many transfer windows now to be up nor down. I don't really bother and look into players too much until I actually know that there's a real kind of target and potential for them to come here. So I'm pretty relaxed. If he comes, he might be a good bit of business. We can get behind him, see what he's like. He might back up Cortez and stuff like that. But until then, no. Stop, Derek. Stop arranging pints with Johnny and everything else.
I've not even seen them. I've not even seen them over here. They're busy doing Scotland stuff. I'm doing my own thing.
Honestly,
yeah. I don't know what they're up to.
But I seen Joshua the other day. It looked like he was getting held hostage, to be quite honest. So, but no, listen. Derek, I'm not fussed. The players chose to go elsewhere. Like, it is what it is. We'll just
exactly.
Players will come in. Like, we will be signing players. So whoever arrives, we just get behind the ones that are here. We can speculate in the meantime, but I'm not going to get up nor down if a player chooses to go elsewhere.
Yeah. We'll wrap up with this, Ross, with the point. Any updates on the new CEO guys? Of course, this is after James Bisgrove confirmed he's departing to join a Saudi Arabian club, Al Qadsiya, over there in the Middle East. Now, John Bennett taking over the role, said to be on an interim basis. Now, we do believe that the new CEO will have a knowledge of the Scottish game, whoever comes in. Who that is, who knows? But it's important, I think, Rangers get the right guy, Stevie, rather than rushing the appointment. Or do they need someone in pronto, do you reckon?
I think it's more important they get the right guy than it is to rush anything for any point at the club. So
right guy or girl, I must add.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoever comes in needs to have a knowledge of Rangers, a knowledge of the Scottish football and how to deal with the politics that are put Rangers' way. Let's put it politely like that. And obviously needs to learn how to stand up for us and things like that, and various kind of issues. So he's got to be progressive. I think that's important. He's got to be ambitious, like James was. I think that's fair. James done a lot of good things. So Bennett will tell you himself that Clement, Coppin, etc. are James Bisgrove appointments. So very progressive that way. A lot of people within Ibrox Stadium and the positions they're in now and being promoted and all, it's all to do with James, and that's how he believes. And I kind of like that for style. So anybody coming in, I'd like them to be progressive and kind of forward thinking and stuff like that. But is there progression in it? Is there any names linked and stuff like that? In all honesty, to the question, no. Rangers are different than they have been for a lot of summers previously. There was a lot of information flying about. It was very easy to get that confirmed, Derek, as you know yourself. As soon as guys like Niels Coppin and Philip Clement and stuff like that come into the building, it changes because they're very professional and they're very different style-wise. You don't get a lot of information anymore. So I think with signings and with news about the club, you're just going to need to be patient because speculation is now as wild as it ever will be without much substance. So we'll just need to wait and see where that goes.
Yep. Right, folks, that'll do us there. Big thanks to Stevie as ever. I think you've got a piece dropped on the website over the weekend, Stevie.
I've not written it yet. So Chris wanted me to write on Scotland, and that was patched. And I'm going to write something on kind of getting the balance right between experience and youth and signings. And it's a bit difficult, Derek. There's not a lot to kind of talk about. You don't want to overly repeat yourself and stuff like that. But since other unnamed members of Rangers Review channel have abandoned us to go on jollies with Germany, I'm having to step up and get that column written. So me and Chris will I'll man the ship next week. Three days in a row, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, me and Chris on the show is going to be absolute nonsense. So tune in for that, folks.
I think I'll tune in just to see what's going down. I'll comment in as well. I'm intrigued to see how it's going to unfold, I've got to say. But yeah, good luck is all I can say for you boys over the next 3 days.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Obviously, we'll get a wee bit of Euros chatting and stuff like that. Obviously,
yeah,
very big one tonight.
How do you see it going tonight, Stevie?
Listen, the Scotland national team's a bit of a bone in contention for some people, but for me, I'm very proudly Scottish and hope yourself that Scotland do really well. But they're like the rest of it, the nonsense that goes on with booing players, the SFA and all. Of course, I don't, but it doesn't mean that I can't want, the team to do well. Does it affect me like Rangers? Do I turn it off? And no, absolutely it does not. But I would still like to see Scotland do well tonight, especially for the young fella. I hope he goes and has a really good tournament. So how do I see it going tonight? Scotland are capable. I think Germany will be too strong. I think Germany will probably win that game 2-0. I can see Scotland doing well but not getting a result. I can see them beating Switzerland. They won't beat Hungary. They won't get anything from that last game.
Hungary, yeah.
So will 3 points be enough to sneak through in third place? We'll need to wait and see how that goes. So it's going to be a good tournament. I think that France are my favourites. I think Mbappe is your favourite for the Golden Boot. And I think Rhea for the Golden Glove. So I'm just kind of that was my predictions. So I'm sticking with that, and I hope Scotland do well over there, and I hope that everybody has a good trip and stuff from the review side of it. So it's one of those ones, Derek. I'm working. I'll see what I can of it, and hope they do all right. So
yeah, no, it's been a good. I've only been here a couple of days, but the Germans have been top notch. Hospitality is
Germany's unreal. Germany is a brilliant trip.
Yeah.
We were over for Leipzig and stuff like that, and it's a brilliant place to go. They're so welcoming. The Germans are brilliant. So and it's always like the Autobahn and all that. It's always like so well organised, and it's always such a clean place, very modern, and all your mod cons and all that. So Germany's a very good trip, and I'm sure you're enjoying yourself, and I'm not at all bitter at all. So.
Yeah, I said yesterday, I mean, even on the plane Dusseldorf to Munich, the German guy sat next to me, bought me a beer and everything. So he was, very, very kind indeed. And everyone I've met has been top notch. Just before we go, big thanks to Bluebells Are Blue for amazing generosity once again. 5 Rangers Review memberships he's donated. Thank you very much, buddy. That is superb stuff. So go and take advantage of it, folks. You get 3 to 5 extra videos per week. A video such as the one I did yesterday, which looks to be well and truly dead in the water on Nathaniel Ajay. But videos like that, you've got the Q&A show I did with Adam as well yesterday when we answered a load of your Rangers-related questions. And I'll wrap up with this. Gary says, remember your Factor 50, Derek, especially if you're on the Raz. Don't worry, I've got the P20 here. Other sun creams are available. So that is getting lavished on from head to toe before I head out into the Munich sunshine. You better believe it. Right, that'll do us there. Big thanks to Stevie. As he touched on there, he will be on with Chris 3 days in a row from next week. I'm back on Thursday and Friday of next week, so we hope you can join us for that. If there's any breaking transfer news, keep your eyes peeled on the social media channels and also on YouTube and the website. We'll keep you updated, folks. But until then, enjoy your weekend and bye for now.